Art is often said to be subjective, allowing for those to express and share their own outlooks on life, giving us a reflection of their experiences and unique emotional being. It acts as not only a form of expression, but alleviation, as well regarding forms of trauma, anxiety, depression, and mental illness. Artists world-renowned have exhibited and struggled with mental illness, unfortunately leading toward a life of solitary and a tragic, untimely end to their lives. Despite their illness, they have managed to convey it in establishing it within their work, giving viewers a better understanding of themselves and the life they have led. Artists I have chosen to focus on are Vincent van Gogh and Edgar Degas. Both having exhibited these traits, took their tragedies and ailing mentality, allowing them to become subjected and reflected in their artwork. Van Gogh was a post-impressionistic artist of Dutch origin who profoundly impacted and became one of the many influential figures in art history. Focus of his work being still lifes, landscape, and portraiture. He had constantly dealt with rejection from those he held affection towards and those he attempted to please through his work, but was yet dismissed for his views. Throughout the later years of his life, Van Gogh's mind had unfortunately begun to deteriorate as he suffered from various disorders. Due to his illness, Van Gogh had committed an act of self-mutilation, where he had cut off his own left ear during a confrontation with Paul Gauguin, an artist with whom he had been working for a while in Arles. Van Gogh, fearing for his mentality, admitted himself to the asylum at Saint-Remy province, where he had produced some of his most recognizable artworks. One of many pieces painted before his commission to the asylum had been Van Gogh's self-portrait with Bandaged, located at the Court Hall Gallery in Somerset, central London. The portrait appears as a depiction of his own self-perception as a tortured artist, hinting us of his illness and desire and determination to continue his work. It appears as though he may also be contemplating his next step as an artist, given the loss of whom he considered a true friend. Van Gogh returned from the hospital to find Gauguin gone, and with him to dream of setting up a studio in the Sound where like-minded artists could share ideas and work side by side. The portrait acts as Van Gogh's attempt of sharing the tragedy and loss which had befallen him, while showing viewers of the continuation of his work, leading to his most productive years as an artist. Acting as a prelude to the unfortunate tragedy in the following year, where the artist would go on to take his own life, shows us the importance of mental health and how fragile an artist's mind is capable of being. Van Gogh had utilized many of his techniques and styles apparent in his work by striking use of color and visual empathetic brushstrokes. The intensity of his vision, his wonderful sense of color, and extraordinary boldness of his technique created masterpieces that exercised a profound influence on the art of the 20th century. Impasto brushstrokes created a texture service, while appearing as both harsh and controlling, were used by Van Gogh to emphasize his ambition and realization of his illness, hoping viewers to become more aware and understanding. The bright color serves as clarification of the harsh conditions he had suffered, regarding both his mentality and surroundings, based on his appearance of warmth, clothing, and facial expression of melancholy. artist's surroundings take on a symbolic meaning as well. A blank canvas signifying a new beginning for the artist, and the Japanese print acting as a source of inspiration, influencing his later and previous works. Edgar Degas was a French impressionistic artist born in Paris, France, interested in capturing fleeting moments of modern contemporary life. He differed from traditional impressionistic artists, conflicted over the choice of subject, while constantly showing no interest or concern over their traditions. Degas was well known and renowned for his depiction of Parisian life, favoring scenery of theater and cafe, noting a sense of psychological complexity and isolation. His subject matter included the ballet, bathing women, portraits, women at work, landscapes, figure studies, and horses. Degas's principal subject was the human, particularly of various female figures of the classical ballerina, growing fascinated by their movements and depiction of the human condition. Edgar Degas's The Absinthe Drinker had been quite popularized and admired for its sense of Parisian culture, while reflecting the rise of the city's social isolation. In a cafe, a fashionable meeting place, a man and a woman, although sitting side by side, are locked in silent isolation, their eyes empty and sad, while drooping features and a general air of desolation. As an impressionist, Degas illustrates the fleeting moment of a contemporary and contriving scene through the depressing expression and mannerisms both individuals have towards one another. The image acts as both a controversial depiction and denunciation of alcoholism, while depicting the harsh difficulties of common Parisian daily life. Despite the date of its creation, the image may act as a depiction of Degas's own personal struggle with the deterioration of his sense of sight. Degas's later struggle with bouts of depression and aimlessness had worsened as a result of his physical decline, causing him to retreat to a life of seclusion, eventually becoming forced to abandon the complete production of his work. Degas had been known for his curiosity and interest as an artist for experimenting with an array of techniques and mediums. Before 1880, he generally used oils for his completed works, which were based on preliminary studies and sketches made in pencil or pastel. The use of contrasting colors, Degas had used creative presence of shadows, emphasizing isolation and desolation, while reflecting silhouette of the two individuals. A consistent theme throughout Degas's artworks was his unique use of vantage points and asymmetrical framing, giving the painting an impression of a photograph. The artificial lighting Degas had used in his artwork were capable of creating obscure shadows and lightened areas while manipulating and emphasizing the tendency of scenario and illicit emotions of subjects. Both Van Gogh's and Degas's artworks emanates a sense of melancholy and drama, detailing isolation and depression, concepts better understood today and the importance of overcoming them for the sake of one's own well-being.